Hey everybody, welcome to Analog Stick Radio. I am your host Mitch, and as always, I am joined by these two Fuddruckers. Over to my left, I've got Fuddrucker number 1, Christery the Mystery. How you doing today, Chris?
I couldn't tell you now, could I?
No, you're not allowed. Not allowed. It's a god-dang mystery. And right below me, I've got Fuddrucker number 2, Dakota the Minnesota.
No, oh, you threw me off with that one. Number 2. I'm number 2.
Actually, and speaking of Minnesota, my fun fact has a lot to do with Minnesota. Did you guys know that Minnesota has 99 lakes that are named Mud Lake?
I did not know that.
Well,
Did
now-
not know that.
now
Is
you-
there a
I don't
large
know,
is there a large female wrestling scene in Minnesota?
Ooh.
If there was,
You're my
I
boy,
would- I
Blue.
would-
If there's
yeah,
not,
if
there
there
should
was,
be.
I would be living there if there was a female wrestling scene there.
Yeah.
I just imagine that they're probably encompassed with mud, and they just can't come up with a better name for them.
There's a lot of muddy lakes, and there's a lot of not creative people in Minnesota. It's a
Yeah,
combination
they're
of
like,
the two.
we're out of names. I bet you they probably
Analog
came up with
Stick
like,
Radio does not endorse making fun of Minnesota in any way.
no,
It's
we
a lot of-
100%. We 100% endorse making fun of Minnesota. Minnesota,
It seems
get
like
better
there's a
at
lot
naming
of
your lakes.
there's a lot of analog stick disclaimers right after I say something. Is that a
Yeah,
problem?
because you're
Yeah.
the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, you say a lot of
You're our,
things
like,
that we don't
drunk
really
uncle.
agree with. Yeah. Dakota, the drunk uncle. Exactly. Guys, I picked up the culling this week.
Woo!
Dakota, I took another recommendation from you.
Third week in a row.
Third week in a row, I've taken a recommendation from Dakota, and I have not been disappointed. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and download your Steam library and just start playing games. At this
Oh, you
point,
idea.
do the
Game-
family and friends thing.
We could.
Yeah.
You could be my brother. Well, I'm your weird uncle who says the things you don't agree with.
Hey,
We've
you're a
already
weird uncle.
established the
Totally
relationship.
Perfect.
It's in the family.
Perfect. So the game is amazing. Actually, the game is really, really fun. If you haven't looked at it yet, it's like a Hunger Games meets DayZ style game, but it has like some crafting. It has some crafting elements of it, but it's a lot of survival and like scavenging. You're spawned in a random area with 16 other people, whether you're playing 1v1 or 2v2v2v2v2v2v2v2. You're always spawned in a random area, and it's kind of just last man standing. You get this really weird currency that helps you like craft things or buy things or heal yourself. It's a very weird game. So
Is there any
it's,
meta thing to work for? Like, is there a ranking system? Are there like
Well,
customizations? Or
it's in
yet.
alpha right now.
Customizations.
There's tons of customization right now. You can get these
Clothes.
These clothes. Yeah, you unlock a different rarity of clothes depending on how well you do. How much damage you do or how long you survive, and you just unlock different clothes as is every video game, and as far as I know, there is no ranking game. There's no penalty for just like straight leaving. The amount of times I've joined a team game and have had no teammate has been pretty bad.
Yeah, it's very early though. The game did release in early Steam access 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah,
2 or
it's
3 weeks
very,
ago.
very-
So
it's very, very
it's,
new,
It's,
but-
yeah, people just got their hands on it. They're definitely open to feedback and rapidly iterating. So it's only gonna get better.
Your black fan back there, Mitch, was freaking me out. The little swivel fan you have, it looked like one of those big mics with the screen, the windscreen on it. And I'm like,
How did he do that?
what is that? And then you moved in front of it, and I'm like, oh, my perception was all off. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just if you're just listening and you're not watching, you're missing out on all the different little mind games I get to play on.
yeah,
here.
I know.
Other than that, I think this week I played a little bit of Rocket League. I'm on a really bad losing streak, but most of the time I was just playing the Culling, man. That game it's a lot of
It's
fun.
good.
Definitely check it
And
out.
it's quick,
check it
man.
out.
It's so easy to get in and play a bunch because the matches are very quick.
Well, and not only are the matches really quick, because the max time limit for the match is 25 minutes, but when you start playing, you don't know what you're doing. So you're going to die real quick. And you can get like 10 matches in an hour, because you're going to get killed in the first 5 minutes. It is going to happen. So I definitely recommend checking out. If you liked like DayZ, even if you liked like Minecraft, like it's got that aspect to it. There's a lot of crafting, a lot of stuff going on. So that's what I did this week. Chris, what did you... how was your week, man? What did you do?
My week was fine. I'm on spring break now.
Woo! Oh, nice.
Spring break. Well, I've been to school twice already this week, so it's not really spring break when you're in graduate school. But so I have less homework, which is good. So I was able to do my MetaBet challenge, which I'll get into later.
Excellent. I saw the picture.
Yeah,
I did too. That picture was incredible.
I played some Heroes of the Storm. Played some.
We played, Chris.
We did play Heroes of the Storm with a bunch of our friends. We did a 5-man team. That was a lot of fun.
Pre-made 5-man. That was a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah, we haven't played like that in a while. I started Zelda Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Nice. How are you liking it so far?
It's pretty good. I didn't get too far into it. I played it for like a couple hours, and I started. I think I'm in the first dungeon. It's not really like a dungeon that you go into, but I'm not sure. It's pretty cool. I don't know how the open world is going to work quite yet, because like, I mean, it's a 6-year-old game, and I don't know if I can give stuff away in it. But
it's a 6-year-old's game.
Yeah, it's a 6-year-old's game. No. But it's fun. It's a Zelda game. I don't really know too much about it yet because I just started, like I said. But it looks pretty good. It plays like a Zelda game. You meet Zelda right off the bat. You have some flying situation. You don't have Epona because it's in the sky. You're in like a sky island, so you have this special bird that you get to fly around. Wait a minute.
Epona doesn't turn into a Pegasus? Like, really?
I know.
Huge lost opportunity there.
There might still be an Epona because there are ground sections. Doubt it.
They could have called her like a Pegasus.
Speaking of
a Pegasister is that's My Little Pony.
Speaking of Pegasus in weird pronunciations, I heard somebody pronounce Epona Epona, and I wanted to hit them.
Yeah,
just let them know that they're wrong. Yeah. Tell them that you're not friends with them anymore, and move on with your life.
Okay,
I like set their house on fire later that night.
Oh yeah, also that, but that was a given. So
yeah.
Dakota, how was your week, man? What did you do? I know you moved.
Good. I moved into
that's a big deal.
Adult house, so it was pretty busy. Not too terribly much time for video games, but I did play a little bit of a game that I guess I'll just mention, and then we can move on to the main topic where I'll talk about it further because I bought and played Hitman Episode 1, I guess.
Oh, you did get
nice. I almost bought that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it as a news item, I guess, and then I'll tell you about some deets.
Is this going to be week 4 of me buying a game that you recommend? Like, is this just going to happen?
I gotta say, as you indicated, the fact that it's only $15, the barrier to entry is low. It's really easy to go, yeah, I'll try that for $15. Why not?
Man, see, I knew it, man. I knew it.
There you go.
I knew it. All right, well, let's actually...
Wow, Mitch, you're the best. You need to be in the game, and you need to start...
I should start a gaming podcast so that I can tell people how good I am at certain things.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, do that.
Sure.
Yeah, sweet. All right, so let's move on before this gets way too meta. All right, guys. So today is the first day of season 2. Sorry, see, I'm already stuck in the past. We have some big changes that are going to be coming up. We're going to be making some like layout changes, whatnot. We're going to be having some really, really cool ideas for interacting with the community a little bit more. We want to get to know you guys a lot better. We want to interact with you guys a lot better. So we have some pretty cool things coming up. But we figured, what way to start everything off than just a news roundup? Let's just start off season 2 talking about all the good and bad shit that's going on. It's insane. Like, there's a lot of things happening. It's like they all wait until March.
Disagree. There's not a lot of things happening. Because there's nothing happening. It's spring. It's spring in gaming. Like, nothing happens in the spring. There's a couple of things.
Bruh, some big things have happened, okay?
I guess.
Some big things have happened.
Not too many.
Dakota, you already talked about it, Dakota. Hitman 1 just got released. It's the first of an episodic saga.
Games as a service, as they say. They did say Hitman is a service. So I guess just a recap or a quick overview. I think it's good. I think it is good.
Yes.
One of the most important things is we talked about the episodic approach to large titles and how it kind of sounded like some bullshit cash grab. And they're doing things with Hitman that make it seem like not that. It makes it seem like they didn't just take a large game and chop it here, 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 and here. So you do get that. You do get where you have basically the tutorial and the first level. That said, it's like you can do anything, man. You have a couple targets that you need to kill for the main storyline mission, and you can do it in any fucking way possible. That's just the main game, though. It's all the cool extra stuff that they're doing to treat it like a game as a service that's cool. The most notable one is the elusive targets system. What they're going to do is slowly release these extra hits, extra marks that you can go find in certain levels, but they're only available and roaming during certain windows of time in real life. Ooh. So they're like, okay, now there's this extra killer that's wandering around the mansion. Go see if you can find him and kill him. And they're also, you're not allowed to save if you go into the elusive target mode. So it's kind of like, you know how like some smaller games have like daily challenges, like Crypt of the Necrodancer. You can do the daily challenge, right?
That's what I was thinking about, like a daily kind of
challenge.
or
Spelunky or something like that. It's like everybody's playing the same scenario, and then it becomes a competition, kind of a leaderboard competition to see who can defeat this scenario the best. So elusive targets are going to be kind of like that, where you only get one shot. If you die, if you high alert, it's over. You lost your chance. And so that's one of the many things that they're doing. So they did a good job of not just taking a AAA title and slicing it 5 times and delivering those 5 pieces. So for that, I say thumbs up to Hitman Episodic.
I'm glad that
promising start.
I'm glad that old man Chris wasn't accurate on this one, because I know that I have this optimistic mindset, but I really I wanted to believe, and I'm glad that so far I'm moderately correct. Chris, you may be right in the long run, honestly.
It's the first one. Like, they're not going to mess with it. They're going to try and get everybody to play with it.
I don't like have an answer for everything, don't you?
Because I've been around. You don't even like single-player games. You try to chime in on Hitman.
Hey, yeah. I've been playing single-player games lately. I played Life is Strange. I've been playing that for a little bit. I've been playing this Stardew Valley. Like, I've been getting myself into single-player games.
I'll give you that. Right? But yeah. I like I said, I think the Hitman, it's the Hitman's. I think the Hitman's, it might start off well, but I'm still wary of it.
Yeah, I've got high hopes. Speaking of interesting new software release strategies, how about this Microsoft Universal Windows platform shenanigans? Did you hear about this?
I heard about it.
Awful.
This is
So why don't you explain it a little bit, Mitch?
So from what I've gathered, and I don't know, I mean, I know a little bit about programming, but from what I've gathered, it's going to basically make it to where you can develop something on Windows 10 or Windows 10 Mobile without having to develop it for both, which is normally like a huge ordeal. Either you develop it for mobile or you develop it for standalone. So this is kind of like a big deal that you can basically develop your game for both platforms.
That's the highlight. That's what they want to.
Yeah, that's
what they want you to believe. Yes, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
It's true.
That's true. And what's good, like, Windows should have their own, like, a storefront is basically what they, there's Google Play, there's Apple. I would be fine with Windows having a storefront. But what they're doing with it is absolute, like, the worst thing. Everybody likes to use Windows as a platform because it's open, right? You get to go in, you get to mess with a lot of programs. When you download, what they're especially doing with this is working with this in the game space. They're trying to make a game, when you buy it from the Windows store or whatever, it becomes an app, right? That you kind of like, you click on your phone. It just opens up. You don't, it limits some of the settings even. Everything has to go through Microsoft. You can't add any modifications to it. You can't add anything. You can't mess with it at all. Like even with Steam, like you have to open up a game through Steam, but you could add the modifications. You mess with it however you want. It's kind of your game. In Microsoft, it's going to be kind of like the Apple Store. Everything that's put on there has to go through Microsoft. And what's even worse is they're currently making some of the games that are coming out for Windows. They're having like specific. I didn't see the details, but even specific recommended settings cannot be unlocked unless it's on the Windows Store version because it's like, oh, it's not unlocking the full potential of Windows 10. So they're using the platform as like a ransom device.
Interesting. Like saying you must upgrade to Windows 10 in order to enjoy this game.
Not even that you must
my
upgrade to
God.
Windows 10. You must buy it through the
this system.
universal Windows
yeah.
platform. If you buy the
Oh
same
my
game on
God.
Steam, it's not you're gonna lose out on like maybe higher resolution than if you're getting it through.
Yeah. So it's
See,
pretty
okay.
shady all around.
Now that you've said this is just one of the number of shitty things that Windows has been doing lately. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. They're like sneaky way of sneaking in Windows 10 to automatically install on people's machines. This has been like a nightmare for a lot of people, namely businesses. So this is just another number of things that like Windows is doing. I was at first hopeful. I didn't know about this, Chris.
Yeah, dude, that's a thing that all the developers are up in arms about. Because it's not just that they have to pay the fee or whatever to put their games on there. Like that's, they have to do that with good old games, and they have to do that with Steam, any kind of, even a GameStop. And it's how limiting it is. It's just trying to close off something that was so open and trying to close it off and control all of it. And you can't, after leaving it so open, it's just it's not working, and it's a terrible, terrible way that the industry is going to go.
Well, maybe
I don't see a lot of people.
Maybe we'll see, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I want to be optimistic. I want to remain optimistic. We need more. We need more details first. We need more details.
Yeah.
I need more details before we can make a concise decision on whether or not this is a corporate scheme.
Yeah. So the new Microsoft platform, an example of a way that one of these massive platforms have totally changed their paradigm in a bad way. But how about massive platform changing their paradigm in a good way? For the first time ever, Xbox is going to support cross-platform play thanks to Rocket League of all things.
Our boys, God,
Psyonix
Psyonix just blowing everybody out of the water. Time and time again. I am so proud of these guys. Like they have a quote about their cross-platform thing, and they basically said that this was a dream from the beginning. This is what they wanted to happen from the beginning. And now that it's happening, it's like a dream come true. They are just nothing but grateful for this opportunity. These guys deserve everything that they've got coming to them. Amazing. I'm so excited.
They can. When I saw this news, and I thought it was just going to be Xbox players can play with PC players. Can they play with PS4 players?
Yes. The capability is 100%
This
Unity.
is like the first. Yeah,
This is the first time it's ever happened.
unbelievable.
Xbox can play against PS4. Xbox can play against PC. It's just all three of them. Just everybody's hanging out.
That's
big
nuts.
reach around circle.
However, Xbox players can choose to just play against Xbox players. And I think
all
the
platforms
same,
can do that. Yeah, that's
I think
already
the same goes for PS4. I don't know if PC players can choose that because I would 100% have chosen that.
I think you might be able to. You have to go check the settings, but
I
yeah,
may
it's a
have to
great
choose-
thing, man. Hopefully this will just be precedence, and so now as we move forward, we'll just see it more. That's the hope.
Definitely.
That's insane because that's a huge deal. I've had a lot of people ask me like, why isn't there cross-platforming and like on all devices? And my go-to response was always like, well, most of the times gamers on PCs usually have better computers than the consoles, like usually. So like it would be an unfair advantage.
Yeah, especially for something like an FPS, like Overwatch. They're releasing on all three platforms, but they're separating this. No, PC cannot play with console.
The publisher too, like the publisher holding the rights. Like a lot of the people will be like, oh, so this is only on Xbox, so you can only, even if it was the same game, it's like, well, Xbox is going to have that special pre-order bonus now, so that you have to buy it on Xbox as opposed to PS4.
Yeah.
But I really like the way that this is going. Like this is really good. I hope a lot more games can, because now there's no like, because I would see sometimes on forums.
All the interesting things you can find on Foreigners. Strange
People would be like, oh man, the technology is probably too difficult. The net code's going to be so hard, and it's like, nope, not anymore, bitches.
No, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's a total cop out. As a software guy, I mean, as long as you,
I really like that dance Dakota did.
the software guy did.
If you're listening, you're missing Dakota's amazing dance. It's wonderful.
Client agnosticism. It's like a very, very common thing in platform design, and all these games are just platforms. They're networking services that sit in the cloud, and they have clients call up to them. So as long as you make the platform agnostic, meaning don't care what the caller looks like, there's absolutely no reason that cross-platform should be a challenge. And I mean, this is just demonstrative that it's always just been a money thing, right? Yeah. I had a funny conversation with somebody at work. We talked about how this is almost like what Sony did with Spider-Man. It's like Xbox wanted to say, okay, we're already losing the console race, right? So let's not lose any more players who are going to get a PS4 just because their friends have a PS4. If we allow cross-platform play, then that no longer becomes a motivator for which console you buy. If I can play with Mitch, me from my PlayStation, him from his Xbox, and I would prefer PS4 and he would prefer Xbox, we're fine. I can get my console, he can get his. Nobody's obligated to get the other one.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. And that's so cool. It's just like Sony and Spider-Man, where they're like, fine, Marvel, you can use them, just please help us. You know, that's Xbox going, we will work with you, but please help us make money. So
yeah, he's referring to I'm assuming you're referring to the movie.
Yeah, how Sony owns the rights. Yeah, I guess maybe not everybody knows. Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man, but they allowed Spider-Man to appear in an upcoming Marvel movie, so long as Marvel helped them make better Spider-Man movies. So
that's just going to benefit everybody. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, no, this is amazing. One of the reasons I actually bought a PS4 was because a lot of my friends have PS4. So I've been an Xbox guy forever. So like the idea of not having to choose anymore seems amazing, and as you're saying it does make sense. This should be something that should have been happening from the beginning. It's insane that it's taken this long, but I absolutely love that Rocket League is the company that's probably been pushing for it and has now ushered it in. That's just one more notch on the fucking belt that Rocket League has. It's great. So let's talk about a big news item now that was large.
This month, right?
This one was pretty funny. So there was this Dota. Was it Worlds?
Yeah, they're doing kind of like throughout the year tournaments, and this was very large, $3 million tournament.
This was in Shanghai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a mishap, I think, where Gabe Newell himself just went ahead and fired one of their top
casters.
What do you call them? The casters, yeah.
Yep.
What is his name?
James.
I had it right here. James Harding goes by the handle 2GD. Apparently, he said the C word on air in a country you're not supposed to say the C word on air in.
What's that, America? You're not supposed to say that most places, right? I guess, but he's British for background, so it's less of an offense, I think. Okay. I think he's British, where he comes from. So
yes, he is English. Yes, but Gabe Newell went ahead and fired him, called him an ass, which is hilarious.
Gabe Newell being the owner of Valve.
Yeah, the owner of Valve. Yes, for those
CEO rather.
And there ended up being a downward spiral for this tournament. Dakota, you want to break it down for us a little bit? Let us know what happened.
I don't know too much. It was like kind of a lot of. I felt like such rumors and stuff like that I didn't want to get too much into it. But basically, after James was fired, Gabe went to, I think, Reddit is where he made his announcement. People were wondering what happened, and he just came and posted, and he said, a couple of people, we've worked with James in the past. I'm spitballing here, going off memory. We worked with James in the past, and we didn't plan on working with him again, but some of our employees thought he deserved a second chance. We granted it to him. It was a mistake. James is an ass. We won't be working with him anymore. And man, it's wild to see a CEO just come out and call somebody an ass. It's got to be the worst feeling for poor James. But I guess it's weird because he's kind of known for that personality, kind of off the cuff, boisterous. It kind of begs the question, why did they hire him in the first place if he's already known to kind of be a little loose-lipped? But I think it's kind of important for esports holistically to Valve and Dota 2. They're one of the front-running entities, kind of trying to bring esports into mainstream acceptance, and we're doing that now. That's fucking happening right now. And so I think Gabe and the scene is very protective of that and want to try to make it as digestible for people as possible. And saying the C word is certainly not the way to do that. So I think that's probably why it's been such a big deal. Immediately following, James released like a 17-page Google Doc, like explaining all this stuff and trying to plead his case, I guess, talking about business history and we didn't get paid for this and that. And I don't know, it just turned into a bunch of shit slinging, but it was so weird for a CEO of a company just to...
The big ordeal
that
here
whole
is...
weekend was awful for them.
Yeah, the big ordeal is that he not only fired James, he fired the entire production team. And that was a big, big mistake because all of a sudden there were major issues with the stream. At one point they lost a player's keyboard, and it delayed the fucking entire tournament. It delayed the entire tournament to the point where when they actually started the tournament, the entire stadium, which was once filled with 31,000 people, was empty. The whole stadium was empty, and that's a huge deal because I know when they had Frankfurt, that one went amazing. The Worlds in Frankfurt was incredible.
Well, I know that they had a lot of technical difficulties before the production team got fired. That's why they got fired. I mean, they didn't just get fired because James did. They were fired because they were already not performing up to task as far as Gabe was concerned. So it sounds like the replacements weren't any better. I remember my buddy sitting on TeamSpeak going, when is this fucking match going to start? And it was like hours and hours late. So they just had bad luck all around.
Give him credit. I was doing a lot of research on this one specifically, and apparently people were working tirelessly to get this up and running. I mean, it's kind of like if you're handed a sinking ship, like how are you going to... You can only do so much, and a lot of people were saying that actually it ended up improving after the production team got fired. There was like a few days of just complete and utter bullshit, but then it's starting to improve. So hopefully we'll see some improvements here. But that was a big deal because Dota 2 is being like the front runner of esports, like you said, and having just this much of a mishap on their production cannot be good for them, and it's going to be something that's going to kind of stick with them for a while. It's a shame because the players, I watched a little bit of the stream, and the players were actually there were some pretty good games from what I heard and from what I saw, and nobody's gonna remember that. Everyone's just gonna remember, that's the one where everything went to shit, everything went to hell in a handbasket. That's that Worlds, and that's unfortunate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are always tend to remember negative experiences more than positive ones. Hopefully, we just see a better acts as far as performance goes. So
they said that they would definitely have a bigger hand in the next couple tournaments because they left this a lot to the production teams. And,
they might go the way of League, where they are just going to do all of this themselves, hire teams in house to be the Dota 2 Valve production team. That way, they only have themselves to blame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's a smart idea too because League has proven that is just the best way to do it. Yeah.
Something a little more on the rumor side is Battlefield 5. There was some leaked screenshots, supposed screenshots, and they seem to indicate that it will be set in World War I, going way back.
Oh.
We've been in present day modern day warfare for a while. Modern day warfare. I got to be careful with my choice of words. What do you guys think? Battlefield way back in the World War I days.
That'd be really interesting.
It'll be interesting, but I think we're at a point where I don't think it's gonna catch people. They're gonna have to do something very unique with the gameplay, I think, to kind of reel that in.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what is it? Modern Warfare. What is it called? 3 now? I don't even know what I own. It's like Modern Warfare 3. Like that game is full of just like high tech, weird, dumb shit, and an actual like android robot that you play as. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna go from that to muskets. I don't know how you're.
Well,
gonna, I don't know how you're gonna sell that.
It's a whole different game from the Modern Warfare series, number one. So it would be Battlefield, so it'd be much more open field, like open combat.
That's
true.
I
really like the idea of that with because they had a lot of trench warfare back then.
How fun is trench warfare going to be, though, Chris?
That's what I was going to say, though. Like, I mean, a bunch of guys like huddled, but at the same time,
hands up, blind firing, like it's going to be a cover shooter. That's what it's going to be. Battlefield 5, the cover shooter.
I mean, I don't know, man. They did start having some terrible technology coming out, like flamethrowers, mustard gas. That's when like the Gatling gun was getting pretty big.
That's true.
Oh,
But-
Gatling guns are sweet.
And then like they had some tanks, and they had I think at the end of the war they started having planes.
Did they?
It was single prop. I
Yeah,
think so.
World War One
Near
was
the
like a
end.
huge turning point because didn't they have like Gatling guns mowing down cavalry that were trying to ride
Yeah,
in?
there were horses involved too. That's
Yeah.
what I'm interested in. There were a lot of like old and new technologies, kind of like right at the merging point.
It is a unique
And in a
period of time.
battlefield game where it's an open field, you're going to be able to mount up on different on horses.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Oh, that's
And
actually
you know
gonna
what?
be pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I mean, just thinking in terms of battlefield, you think, okay, a Gatling gun, of course, is going to ruin a horse. That's not balanced. That's not fun. It won't work. Battlefield is not about balance because you can have a dude get in a jet plane and another guy's on foot. Guy in the jet's going to win every time. It's about how you work together and use specific strategies in order to like play and counterplay. So if somebody's in an attack chopper, for instance, you could have two dudes on foot. One guy sights the laser, or the other guy shoots the missile, and then all of a sudden two guys are a threat to a chopper. So if they can do something similar with these like really unique dynamics as far as World War I warfare, that might be cool.
I'd be really into it.
I'd be into it.
I haven't played
Seems sweet.
Battlefield since Battlefield 3, and I really like I've always liked the scope of those games, so I'd love to see it in that space.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get more information than a couple screenshots to kind of really gauge what
Yeah,
we
definitely.
think of this
Yeah, we'll
game.
see if it's even
but
true. This is all
let's,
just rumors anyway.
Let's move on to some kind of sad news here. Fable Legends just canceled. They just shut it down, and
Yeah.
On the
and
spot.
furthermore have confirmed now that Lionhead Studios will be shut down.
Oh, it's
That's-
confirmed.
Yeah, it's
I believe
confirmed.
so.
Yeah, it's confirmed that Lionhead Studios and like a
'Cause they
number
were
of other
talking about they were in
studios-
talks.
Yeah, no, Lionhead
Yeah,
Studios.
there was another
and,
one.
like, and there's like 3 other ones. Like all of them just kind of getting shut down, and that's, I mean, it's sad times. Fable's been around for what, like 10 years now? Like,
It's been around a long time, and Lionhead even before that, Black and White.
Oh yeah, Lionhead
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 Studio has been kind of
used
like
to be
a
a big name.
premier British video game development studio, led by Peter Molyneux, just completely famous, infamous. I don't know.
I've more infamous, I think, than
Why is
than
he
famous.
so infamous? Peter especially kind of takes the brunt of the brunt of the
brunt.
criticisms. Peter Molyneux
'cause he
passed
always-
the blunt, bro.
He always promised like the moon and would give you like a small pebble.
Yes, he would. That's and talk about people remembering the bad instead of the good.
Uh-huh.
I can't help but think Peter Molyneux and just sheer disappointment, just absolute disappointment. I mean, Fable was always supposed to be the game of all games, man. Like the single player MMO, perfect freedom, perfect you can do anything, and it always felt a little lacking. Not that they were bad games, the first 2. The third one was a little.
I never played the third one.
I played it for
I
about.
played the first one, and it was
I played the
not
first-
fun.
You didn't like the first one? I enjoyed it. I mean, God, that was a long time ago. I remember
played the
sitting in
first
my
one on
buddy's
PC.
room playing that on Xbox. I was gonna say Xbox One, but Xbox,
And on the
right?
PC.
The first Xbox.
The first Xbox, yeah. But then you know what I remembered more specifically, and I had to go Google to find out whatever happened. Do you remember his Curiosity project where he had the cube tapping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Are you talking about the little boy
Yes.
on
Yes,
the Kinect?
No, I'm not. What I'm talking about is Lionhead and Molyneux released this game, quote unquote, for the iPhone, a mobile game called Curiosity, and I think it was called like Curiosity: The Mystery of the Cube or something like that. All it was a 3-dimensional cube, and it was networked. When you tapped on a spot, you'd chip off like a layer of the cube, and you had to go layer by layer. So if I was on layer 1, you'd have to completely clear layer 1 to get to layer 2. But it was networked. Everybody was doing this at the same time. The cube was massive, thousands of rows by thousands of rows. And so I could be chipping on one side, Mitch could be chipping on the other, Chris on the other. And the deal was whoever chipped the last piece off the cube won something, some mystery something. And some British kid was the winner, 18-year-old British kid. This is why I thought when you said little boy, I thought that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
He won. And he got this prize video of Molyneux addressing him, saying, "You've won. You get to have a once in a lifetime opportunity," and basically promised the kid revenue share in Goddess, their next game, and also said that he gets to play a special role in Goddess. He gets to be the god of gods. Basically, the deal was he was supposed to be a part of the creative process, implement powers, have special abilities in this game that nobody on Earth had.
What?
And none of it happened.
What?
And that is the ultimate Molyneuxism in my mind that sticks with me, going, Curiosity and Goddess serve as a perfect poster child example for lines.
I can just see it now. I could just see it now. Like, this happens, and then it's like, you see that, like, we're watching this video, and then it cuts to the boardroom of all the people, and they're just like, no, we're not doing this shit.
You told this kid
give him a pizza.
Some Domino's quick.
Give him a Chuck E. Cheese gift card. Send him on his way. Yeah. No.
Wow.
In light of that, I looked it up. They're also closing Press Play Studios, which came out with Max: The Curse of the Brotherhood, and they're also sunsetting the development on Project Knoxville. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, but they're just shutting down a lot of things. But they have also stated that they're still going to be moving forward with development on other products that they feel are better suited for the current gaming community. So I don't know. That's a big, bold step. They're laying off a lot of people. I don't know.
There's a little silver lining for the people at Lionhead Studios. Apparently, on Twitter, they're having a big PlayStation event, and a lot of in England or in somewhere in Britain, and they're just inviting all the Lionhead Studio people over, and they're like, "Come over for a drink, and we have our doors open. You come and apply."
That's cool.
Basically.
That's really
so they're kind of offered jobs over at Sony now after stand-up.
Right on.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. All right. So we all love Blizzard. So let's talk about the big things that have happened. Blizzard's released some big shit. So
yeah,
I want to start it off.
To weakest.
Yeah, we're gonna go peakest to weakest here because although this for me is peakest. Oh no, peakest to weakest. Yeah, I think you said weakest to peakest. Yeah, peakest. Oh no. I'm going peakest. Dakota, I see what you've highlighted here. I'm going peakest. They fucking patched Diablo 2. What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
That's
and Warcraft 3.
And Warcraft 3, which is patched today at the recording of this podcast. They patched Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2 for the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah, this was a news item a couple months back when the job listings went up on Blizzard's career page. So this has kind of been in the working for a while. And yeah, I mean, I think one of their head guys said in an interview about Overwatch that Blizzard is the kind of company that doesn't just make one and done games. They're not the kind of people that are going to make, for instance, Fable and then Fable 2. They consider every one of their properties eternal. So they're only going to make games that have lasting value. And they doubled down on that premise. And not only are they maintaining all their new properties, they're even going back and maintaining the old ones too. So
you know what I think this might be leading up to?
What do you think?
Since they have the launcher of that we play here as a Storm on the StarCraft, I'm wondering if they're going to turn that launcher into a somewhat storefront, because a lot of what these patches did worked to help get the games ready to be able to play on newer machines.
Right, new installers.
Work under like higher new cores and stuff like that.
Well, because you used to have to play Diablo 2 on like XP compatibility mode. Like that was the only way you could play Diablo 2. Now compatible for Windows 7, 8, and 10.
So I think this is pure rumor made by me currently right now. That I think that
Analog Stick endorsing this rumor right now.
Heard it here first. I think this might lead the way to some kind of storefront for Blizzard where they'll have like a classic storefront. We might even see like the Lost Vikings game on there, hopefully.
Oh, that would be sick. Dude, I played the Lost Vikings in daycare years and years ago.
I've never played it. I've always wanted to. I've heard a lot about it.
That's what I said. I never played it, so that would be a fun
Like
Yeah.
this, and I think this is a good. That would be a good idea for them as well. Like Blizzard has nothing but great games, as you said, Dakota. They're all eternal. Why not put them all in a storefront where we can all just give you money for them?
Sure.
There's a small rumor out there that this was one of the reasons they also did this was because of the Warcraft movie coming out.
Well, yeah,
sure.
I mean the Warcraft one makes way more sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, that
So
makes a lot of
while
sense.
they were while they were doing the other one, while they're doing Warcraft, they figure, maybe we'll just. That was one of the other rumors I read somewhere that like they're expecting an influx of people to try and go back in the story to find out old lore. So they're
it's just going to be on everybody's brain and tongue.
Yeah.
And
you know what's
web pages.
what's actually crazy as well. Hearthstone, and this can maybe branch into another topic, but Hearthstone just released their next hero, the paladin. I forget her name,
Lady
but she
Leandrin.
Lady Leandra. She's free, but you have to level up to level 20 in World of Warcraft.
Wow.
It's not really the next. It's more of a skin.
It's a
for the class.
Well, yeah, it's not a hero. It's the skin for the paladin class.
Yeah, they call them heroes in Hearthstone. The alternate portraits. All they are is visual. It's not like a new cards. Just a different way to look as a paladin.
But that's still a big deal. Like they're releasing a free-to-play visual, which the other ones were like $10, and the only thing you have to do is level up to 20 in World of Warcraft. Which, spoiler, that's free. So
yeah, you can do that with the free starter pack of WoW.
Yeah,
but
so
they're not letting anybody
I think that's got to be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They weren't letting you. It's not for anybody, but unless you've leveled them up past like March 11th. It only so like all of our old characters don't count.
Right. We have to go.
You have to get a new character and level them up.
Right, and then this has to be kind of pushing the Warcraft movie as well, just kind of getting you back.
Yeah, getting
into
people
the,
like, oh yeah, I'll play some Warcraft and.
Yeah, getting you back into like the Warcraft like lore, reminding you all the stuff that you remember, sending you back to Stormwind. Like I mean I get it. It's a great marketing move. It's a lot of fun. I've been looking on Reddit. There's like level guides for people who have never played Warcraft
so supportive,
before.
man.
Oh, it's amazing. Like the community's just like, welcome to my dome. Let's do this shit. I'm excited. It's awesome. This is gonna be great.
While we're talking Hearthstone, though.
Oh my! Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Let's talk about the new expansion that just got announced. Whispers of the Old Gods.
Okay.
It's coming in. What do they say? Late March, early April. Late
March,
April,
early
April.
May. Okay, Dakota, you and I, we're gonna have a discussion real quick because I know you're gonna agree with me on this, and this is the only thing I'm gonna say about it. We're gonna very briefly talk about it, and then we're gonna move on. But I'm a little perturbed because it seems like this is the second time that Blizzard's Hearthstone department has copied Magic the Gathering's current set, which is kind of pissing me off. So the first time when they released the dragons, the all dragons set in Hearthstone, well, if you've never played Magic the Gathering before, they had just released a set that was all dragons, and like they had specific cards that said if
stop right
card,
there because it's like dragons are in fantasy, so fine, dragons.
We get it.
But it's more than that.
But hold on. So they had specific cards in Magic prior to the set being released that said when you cast this card, if you control a dragon, you actually had to reveal it in Magic because they don't have like a computer system, but if you control a dragon, do this bonus thing on the card. And then what did Hearthstone come out with? Hey, when you cast this card, if you have a dragon in your hand, do this bonus thing. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Big deal.
Mechanic.
It's the exact same mechanic. It's the same mechanic.
But the thing is, no, it's not like a new mechanic. It's not like something like Inspire.
It was an entirely new mechanic. What?
No, they previously had dragons, and they previously had like beasts in the game, and the hunter had a bunch of beast decks. It's like, oh, if you bring out a beast card, you do this with the beast. Well, hello. Oh no, that's a dragon expansion. Let's not add a dragon mechanic.
You're telling me
there was up until that time there was never a mechanic that affected that triggered off of cards that you had in your hand. There was not. There was beast cards affected when they came into play. Can you? Maybe I could be wrong, but Chris, can you name a card
you are absolutely
that was
correct.
affected? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the dragon cards in Hearthstone were the first cards that had triggers based on stuff that was not in revealed zones, aka your hand.
Yes, this was the first time it happened because it was a big
hunter's
deal.
attack, the 3 damage that only does 5 damage.
That did 5 if there was in play, not in your hand. In play. That's different.
The kill command. If you have a beast
hand?
in play,
Yes.
This was the first time it ever triggered on if it was in your hand, and it was at the exact same time.
That's just cutting hairs. Like, I think you
It's
guys are
not cutting
making a
hairs.
mountain out of
It's
a
the
molehill.
exact
It's like big
same
deal.
mechanic.
So I do agree that it's a funny. I think it's a coincidence. I'm kind of in the middle. Mitch thinks it's a conspiracy. Chris thinks that it's not even worth mentioning. But
really
let me
quickly,
say,
really
there is
quickly.
no way the development card cycles for each Magic and Hearthstone are so long that there is absolutely no way that this could be anything other than sheer coincidence. Magic cards are made like 6 to 9 months in advance. Hearthstone cards are probably
2 years.
made
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years in advance Magic cards are made. Hearthstone cards are probably made, I would probably say 6 months in advance. There's no fucking way that this was anything other than coincidence.
so-
I think it's a funny coincidence.
I'm gonna go on a record and say that I'm almost positive that what I think is happening is that Blizzard and Wizards of the Coast, the company that makes Magic the Gathering, I feel like maybe they're kind of in cahoots and they're like working with each other because they realize no, just hear me out. Hear me out. Because like it would only benefit them, right? Because most Hearthstone players are also Magic players and vice versa. Like a lot of Magic players
There's some
play
crossover,
Hearthstone,
yeah.
and a lot
crossover.
of Hearthstone players play Magic. And I
Some
think
of the premier pro players in Hearthstone are Magic players.
Brian Kibler was a professional Magic player, one of the best,
Kibler
and
Reynad,
stopped
some of the
playing.
premier streamers.
Stopped playing to play. Well, Reynad was not very good at Magic, but
He
he's very
wasn't,
good
but
at
he
Hearthstone.
played Magic. Yeah.
Yeah,
played
and
Inter.
just like it, okay, so they have this new set coming out called Whispers of the Old Gods, and it's and Hearthstone's got this new cool Cthulhu like Lovecraftian set coming out.
They had a lot of these old kind of characters in the past Warcraft games, though.
it's in the Blizzard
already in the
universe.
Warcraft lore,
I'm
but
not saying they're
I'm
coming
just
out
clarifying for
of
people
nowhere.
who don't know.
No,
Okay,
I know you are, but it just Blizzard or Wizards of the Coast just came out with their Lovecraftian set of their own when they went to Battle for Zendikar and then Oath of the Gatewatch. They had this flying
It was the
spaghetti monsters and
Cthulhu
Eldrazi.
old god monsters.
It was
yeah,
their
it was like
Cthulhu old, and it's just like, and now they
It's-
have a new set coming out that they've released a couple months ago called Eldritch Horror, which is going to be really Lovecraftian. And it's like, are you kidding me that you're also doing your Lovecraftian thing at the same time? Like, there's no way that it's coincidence both times. I'm sorry. There's no way that it's coincidence both times.
There's no such thing as two coincidences, right?
How do you think?
no
how
such
do you
thing.
think how do you think the informant lets Blizzard know? You think he sends like an in-game mail through WoW? Like there's a guy checking
Battle.net
no.
friends.
It's
Checking
much
his
more.
inbox?
It's much more secure. There's like like if you see in those movies, they open a briefcase. One guy puts his hand in, the other guy puts their hand in. It scans both their hands, and then there's like a retinal scanner at the top, scans both their eyeballs. It's really, really secure. So. But no, honestly though, I like this set. There's a really cool mechanic that they're doing with this new card they released called Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
No, it's
Cthulhu, whatever. Cthulhu.
It's Heartsea.
Cthulhu.
It's
I
Heartsea.
like Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's Cthulhu. So Cthulhu is like a 4/4 that when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its attack split up.
6/6 for 10 mana.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 6/6 for 10. It deals damage equal to its attack split up randomly. However, there's a lot of cards that they've released that buff Cthulhu, wherever he's at. So if he's in your deck, in your hand, on the battlefield, doesn't matter. Wherever he's at, when this card does its thing, it buffs Cthulhu. Or Cthulhu, I'm sorry. I'm going to do that a million times. It's going to happen.
I mean, it's based on fucking Cthulhu. It's an easy mistake to make. It's cool
And
that the flavor of the cards are like they're his worshippers, and so when you play them, they revere him and they make him stronger, even though he's still in the ether, aka your deck.
I thought was the coolest part of the whole thing was they're redoing certain cards as like corrupted versions.
Yeah.
Yes!
They have like this Doomsayer card that was a 0/7, and then after a turn he'd blow up everything. Well, they have a card that's called the Validated Doomsayer, and it's the same guy, and it's a 0/7, but it's like more mana, but on the next turn, instead of exploding and destroying everything, it turns him into a 7/7.
It's
just for your turn only.
So his flavor is not like he's corrupted, but that, look, I was right. The doom really did come, and so because he was right, he gets strong. But then, go ahead.
There's a loot hoarder,
Yeah.
a little guy who gives on his death rattle, he gives you a card. Well, there's a polluted hoarder.
Yeah,
and that's my favorite card.
Yeah. And so his stats are a little bit bigger, his mana cost is bigger, but his ability is the same. So it's like they're taking all these classic cards and
it's a lot of
what
fun.
would happen in this world.
You like get corrupted or like something. Or
I gotta say,
I like it.
Go ahead, Dakota.
This is kind of the first time they're doing something that Magic does do a lot, where they have reoccurring characters in a way, and you get to see them now and then. That's very common in Magic, because in Magic the narrative is a little more self-serious fantasy, and so there's a group of heroes that always show up, heroes and villains that show up consistently set after set, and so their cards are always going to be kind of the same, with some alternate mechanics, sometimes dramatically the same if the narrative of the set benefits from it. So this is a really good example where we see the Doomsayer, and it's like, that's the same guy. It's the same character, but now he's living in the world with the old god. So that's kind of cute.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. I was thinking about it when I started seeing some of these like pseudo reprints. They do reprints, like exact reprints of cards a lot in Magic the Gathering. They'll do like either functional reprints where they're basically the same card with maybe one or two like minor things change, and sometimes they're literally exact same mechanics. I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing in Hearthstone, where they literally reprint the same card because it just is fitting for the set. Maybe they like need to reprint, I don't know, like Big Game Hunter's not really going to not be in standard, but like a card that would be rotating out like Dr. Boom, I'm wondering if that's going to be a card that they eventually like reprint in another set. It's just an interesting thought that I had. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I know it's a point of contention for some Hearthstone players, but a lot of that is just because they're not familiar with that concept. As time goes on, they'll become more familiar with kind of these tropes and conventions of trading card games. Team 5 is doing excellent work, man. I'm super stoked to see more Whispers of the Old cards.
Besides them copying off of Magic the Gathering, they are doing incredible work. So,
other news: Overwatch release date.
Yep.
May 24th. Big news.
Excellent.
They released it. Released the date for it.
Finally.
Exciting. They've been doing a lot. They've been adding maps. They've been adding skins. I heard there's a thing. It's not a huge thing, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a controversy having to do with the skins.
I haven't heard about this. What's going on?
Basically, for the characters, they do this in Team Fortress. This isn't a big deal because it's also a team-based shooter, and they just have the hats, right?
Uh-huh.
So they have the whole body. You see their silhouette and everything, and so you always know who a heavy is. It's this big hulking guy, and you see the big gun.
Uh-huh.
It's the heavy. You know, if it's like, the little thinner guy with the hat, not the hat, but the little thinner guy with the vest, that's the sniper.
Yeah.
And they just changed the hats. Well, they're giving out. People are having a problem with how different the skins are.
Yeah.
For Overwatch,
and
because,
I mentioned this many episodes
you have
ago.
mentioned this. Yeah, you mentioned it also.
This is a concern.
There's the Reaper, for instance, is a guy with a big black trench coat and like dual shotguns. He has a mariachi skin, for instance.
Yeah.
And he puts on a little mariachi hat. There's a really cool like Soldier 76 skin where he doesn't look like the soldier with like a mask and everything. He looks like Evel Knievel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like completely different.
I remember that one. That one's dramatically different.
Yeah, that one stuck out to me because that's like there's a couple out there that are all right. Like there's a guy with a gas mask and he's a big fat guy, and then instead of having a gas mask, he's got like a shark hood over his head, and he has like an anchor hook.
It is incredible. It's probably the coolest skin in the game.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
I'm so excited.
And it doesn't break too much with the character because, like, he's like an Australian big beefy guy. You can imagine he'd like wrestle a shark and put it on his head, but like. People are having an issue with these crazy skins already right out the gate before the game's even released.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, already? What's going to come next?
Yeah, like what how can they up these skins? And it might be hard to kind of notice these characters when they're running around not looking like the couple base that there already are. What do you guys think about that?
No, I agree. It's par for the course with Blizzard when it comes to like their skin production. I mean, if you look at Heroes of the Storm, some of their skins are dramatically different. They're completely different I actually sometimes have trouble telling what a character. Like I'm like sometimes when somebody runs up and I'm like, who is this person? Even in League of Legends, sometimes their skins. That's a different situation, but their skins are like they look too much like another skin. And so that's kind of an issue, but with Heroes of the Storm, they definitely have some skins that are very dramatically different. I like the idea. I mean, it's definitely right up their MO, but I think, as you said, it's a little too soon.
I am.
Yeah, go ahead, Dakota.
I'm definitely of the opinion that this is the kind of thing you have to be super, super careful with because, as you said, Heroes. Blizzard has already shown through Heroes that they're okay kind of with the idea of going zany, and I'm not a fan. I know that last time we talked about this, you guys said you guys are kind of okay with that zany skin stuff within reason, but Dota always did something they were pretty strict with their cosmetics because they opened it up to allow the community to create cosmetics. So most of the items in Dota were actually created by Dota fans who also want to do 3D artwork. But they said you have to adhere to the guidelines, the artistic guidelines of the hero. So if you're making, for instance, an item for Sven is a big, bulky blue guy who has a sword and a helmet. He's like a large, broadsword wielding fighter. So you can't make like a fucking flower thing to put on him. It's kind of outside of his core.
That would be a really cool
it
skin,
would be
though.
funny,
Giant sunflower.
Yeah,
Huge
I don't know. Like, so I
Huge.
really love that. I love that. It's like even if the items are like really intense and have like a lot going on, you can still look at it and go, yeah, that makes sense for that character. So you can then identify them quickly. And that's the important thing. You have to be able to, in a game like this, be able to quickly identify characters. It matters for gameplay. And it especially matters where maybe in Heroes, if you're in a match, there's 5 enemies. Okay, you might have been confused once. Now you know it for the match. But in Overwatch, you've got 21 heroes for now, and you're allowed to switch heroes ad hoc. So
That's exactly.
you got to know
exactly
every
my
character and every costume.
Yeah, that's the biggest
That's my
deal.
fear. Like with Heroes of the
Yes.
Storm, I think it's fine. Like with a kind of brawler game like that, because a lot of those games are silly. In my opinion, like everybody who plays those games, they know it's a competitive multiplayer game. Nobody really cares too much about the story. Like, especially for Heroes of the Storm, if we're going sticking in the Blizzard realm, because everybody knows these characters are from their own respective games. They have like a long history. But in Heroes of the Storm, it's just kind of like this is a MOBA, this is a brawler. It's kind of like the Super Smash Brothers, so it's fine if like Nova is on rollerblades or if like Muradin is like the Candy King, and like it's just
already
fun
like
'cause
a fan fiction fantasy,
yeah,
right?
and they have their big weapons. You're able to tell what they do, and as soon as they use an ability, you're like, okay, that's that guy right away. But in a game like Overwatch, like you said, I don't like how fast they're moving with it. I'm okay with the character customization and the cool skins, but they mentioned that they might add other heroes in the future. How difficult will it be now to try and make a skin or like a certain color combination that's not going to stand out next to those other skin combinations?
Yeah.
Are you able to tell those characters right off the bat from
Okay,
one another?
so very quickly, I'm gonna just say like maybe we're jumping the gun. Maybe they're playing the game, right? So they know how it works and how it functions, and maybe it's just so obvious who that character is based on either the way they're moving or what they're doing that it doesn't matter. Maybe like you just see Reaper coming at you and he's got the big shotguns or whatever, and maybe it's obvious. We don't know. I agree with you. I think it's a little too soon. But however, some of these skins, I was looking at it, they have different different tiers, much like Blizzard always does, where they have like common, uncommon, rare.
Yeah, like rarities.
And then legendary. So I think some of these like outlandish ones, I looked at them, and a lot of the outlandish ones are legendary. So I don't think we're going to see them as often as we think we're going to see them. But maybe we will. I don't know. I think
the game,
that's something.
As the game goes on, everybody's going to be opening up the loot boxes. Legendary's not going to be as legendary in like 3 years down the road.
It's true.
This
is
could
true.
be true. Like I said, I'm just saying, like, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you that it's really, really quick. I know that they're trying to pile in as much value as they can to make it a day one buy for you, Chris. But I think it's a little too soon. It's going to confuse new players. I think we're going to be fine. Like we're veteran players of games like this. We'll get used to it and figure it out. But newer players are going to get discouraged because they're not going to know what the hell's going on. So I think it's a little much. So Okay, that being said, we talked about a lot of news items. A lot more things have happened. The China WildStar launch was canceled. EverQuest Next was canceled. Like, a lot of different things happened. Definitely make sure you go check them out. But for the time being, we're going to move on to the MetaBet. All right, Dakota, take us away.
All right, for those that don't know, the MetaBet is a game where we bet on the Metacritic score of an upcoming video game. Last week, Chris lost. What happens with the MetaBet is the winner assigns the loser a challenge or a stipulation, etc., etc. Chris not only lost the MetaBet, we actually did some extra betting, and he lost everything. Chris was a triple loser. So what we did was we tried to come up with an extra tough challenge for him. And what we did was we assigned Christopher the challenge of completing the Noam Chomsky achievement in Half-Life 2 Episode 2. It's what we're going to call the Analog Stick Radio E.T. Gnome Home Challenge. Chris, tell us how it went.
That's really good. It's really great that you call it that, because as a child, I was terrified of E.T. And that's saying a lot, because I grew up on horror movies for some reason.
That's weird.
You know what? Like,
E.T. scared me too. The scientist.
E.T. was horrifying for me. I don't know why.
You're both idiots. That movie was delightful.
I saw Alien 3 in the theaters at age 7.
Oh,
and Aliens
God.
2 was my favorite. Like, I loved horror movies, but E.T., the kids movie, scared the shit out of me. So I'm so
Chris,
happy you brought back terrible memories of that.
Chris, remind us what the Noam Chomsky. Remind us what that achievement is, just for those of you that don't know.
Basically, what it is Half-Life 2, regular shooter. You go through. At one point, very early on in one of the episodes, like one of the later additions to the game, you find it under under a bed or something. What? The gnome. It's a garden gnome.
Yeah.
And it's a ceramic garden gnome like you'd have in your front lawn, and you find it and there's nothing to do with it. Spoiler, at the very end of the game there's a rocket ship. Okay? So this challenge involves you getting that gnome and bringing it to the end of the game and putting it in said rocket ship. So originally, you have the whole thing is you have a gravity gun, which you could use to manipulate items. You could pick up stuff, throw it in the game. So you could pick up this gnome and walk around with it. I killed a couple guys with it, by the way.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Awesome.
So, it started off seeming like, okay, you know what? This is totally fine. I'm a seasoned FPS shooter. I played a lot of Half-Life in my day. I could just, put this guy in a corner if I feel like there's a big fight. Put him down, nestled over there, and I'll be like, all right, shoot, blow up everybody, come back, pick him up. It was all fine and dandy.
Hold on. It's important to note that part of this challenge was you also had to play this on the hardest mode.
Is that right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did that.
I forgot that was part of the... Since he was a triple loser, he had to do this achievement and beat this game, but he also had to do it on Expert or Ultimate or whatever it was.
On hard, which, it was difficult. I did it. And it was fine. The difficulty wasn't the difficulty, okay? Because I've played Half-Life on difficult before, and it's fine. I'm used to that kind of game where you have to ration your health packs and backtrack and stuff. So the thing is, we made this challenge thinking, okay, it's going to be funny. He's got to drag this gnome all the way. There's a part in the game, a big section of the episode where you have to drive a car. And this game's old physics they didn't plan for this. There was no place you could put this gnome in the car that fit right, correctly. I had to glitch him. Into the roof.
Really?
There's a little... If you imagine the back window of the car, but the window's popped out, and it's really small. So I had to pick him up and try and glitch him, then stick him back into the middle of this window. And if I hit the wall, or if I hit a tree, or if I went over a bump too hard, he'd fly out. And I'd have to get the goddamn out of the car and head all the way back and try and find him wherever he fell out of this Mustang I'm driving, and pick him up and wiggle him back in. And what was even worse was sometimes it bugged out the physics, and Gnome would pop out and make me fly across the map over the world and fall into the endless abyss.
What?
And I'd have to go back to my checkpoint.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was the most bullshit I've had to deal with in a long time.
When I looked up this achievement, that was the one thing that they said was that the car was literally the hardest part.
Yeah, we've got a listener in chat that's saying
not
that
expecting that.
It's a quick save over and over again with that damn car.
God damn.
Excellent. Well, that's the recap. So let's talk about the game that we bet on last time. Last week we bet on The Division for the PS4. As a recap, from peakest to weakest, that's top to bottom for anybody that doesn't know. Chris bid 85. Dakota, myself, I bid 82. And Mitch bid 81.
Oh, man.
Today, a week after release, as we know, the reviews were a little bit delayed for The Division. A week after release with 25 critic reviews, The Division for the PlayStation 4 has a Metacritic score of 84.
No!
Making Chris the winner for the first time. And Mitch the loser.
Chris, I have destroyed you for the past 3 weeks. I have so much coming to me right now.
So let me tell you, Chris, I'm going to tell you right now. Mitch is playing the culling. We have to hit the culling, and I have some ideas.
Oh, God. I have been unstoppable for like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, this hurts.
This is the first week in several weeks I haven't lost, so this might be... I didn't win either,
This is the first week in several weeks I've lost. This has been a while.
I want to hit the culling.
Coming.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and start with what I know, and I'm gonna see what you think about this, Dakota.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
So you get dropped into this area and you have to make a weapon.
Yes.
Right? Are there drop boxes also?
Yes, you can find stuff. You can scavenge.
Like weapons and
Yes.
stuff?
No, don't do it.
That's correct.
Okay. How about he can only use things from a drop box?
Okay, so no crafting.
Yeah, no crafting at all.
No crafting at all.
Oh my!
That's beautiful. I was going to
Like
come up with something else, but I think that is a completely legitimate
No bandages,
chat.
nothing. Literally, I can't craft.
No
anything.
Literally
What about-
nothing crafted.
Hold on. What about like adding arrows to my bow?
Do you have to?
What is
Do you
he
have to
gonna-
craft it?
You have.
Wait, it's not really
Yes.
crafting it. You like put them in your bow. You're not.
It's that's reloading. I'll let you do that.
I think you
Okay,
gotta let
thank-
him do that.
thank God, I was like,
It's already
if
gonna be hard enough.
Yeah, that's like reloading, but no crafting.
Okay, no crafting. And you know what, Mitch? I'll even play some twos with you, and I will do it as well. We can suffer together just for fun.
You can't craft him anything.
No, I won't.
No, he's saying he won't craft
I will
anything
do it
either.
too. I'll scavenge with him.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Awesome.
God,
That's great.
that
What I
is-
was going to suggest is no melee, so they either have to go all ranged or all throwing stuff. I like yours almost as good, if not better.
No melee is almost impossible. Every fight.
No
in the
way,
culling-
dude. If you go the throwing weapon perk, you do 100% extra damage, 100% velocity on your thrown weapons. Backstabs stack with throwing, so you can throw spears from the back. You do glorious things. Anyway, the culling, guys. Play the culling. Mitch and I will be playing some.
I will
sometime this week.
100% have some videos for you guys next week of me running around scavenging, trying not to die. I'm going to be basically throwing rocks at people at this point now. That's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to start the game and I'm going to pick up rocks and sticks and I'm just going to throw them at them because I can't craft them into anything. Sweet.
Awesome. All right, our new bet for this week, guys. We're going to be betting on Pokken Tournament for the Wii U. It comes out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that during the fighting game episode. I wanted to talk about it. I want to see how it does.
Yeah, we'll see how it does. I guess we don't really know much about it. So
we're gonna bet on
the Metacritic score of Pokken Tournament. I've got my number written down. You guys write down your own number.
Pokemon fighting game made by Tekken guys.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
it's a portmanteau, Mitch. Portmanteau. Pokemon. Tekken.
I know it's a portmanteau, and I love portmanteaus, and I love the word portmanteau, but I have no idea how to bet on this. I'm ready. I got my number.
Okay, so you got your number in chat. Chris, do you have your number in chat as well?
I got my number.
All right, on the count of 3.
I got my number.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
No!
Oh, big
Wait, yes!
range here.
Damn
Big
it.
range here.
Yes!
All right, so from peakest to weakest, of course, Chris up top bids 86. Mitch is in the middle with 82, meaning he can't lose, impossible to lose. And I'm way, way low with 73. You could say I'm not a believer in the Pokken tournament.
Well, I went with our tried and true 82, and it
worked out for you.
me. It worked out for me really, really well. For those of you that don't know, for the first few weeks that we started recording this and we were doing the meta bet, 82 was the number that came up for the meta bet almost every week.
Yeah, majority of games are just rated 82.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, like the average Metacritic score for a game, if it's like not a complete piece of shit, aka Fallout 4, is 82. So,
most excellent. Most excellent.
All right, guys. Well, as always, Analog Stick Radio is brought to you by BitCultures. Now, if you've never been to BitCultures, it is a site that features video game reviews, opinion pieces, digital media, just like this show. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, check them out, www.bitcultures.com. If you want to reach us, Analog Stick Rad Guys, that's myself, Dakota, and Chris, you can email us at analogStickRadio@gmail.com, tweet us at ASR Podcast. I know these are difficult to remember, but please do your best. We record every single Tuesday night right here on twitch.tv/AnalogStickRadio. So if you're listening to this, you're probably already there, or you've probably already downloaded it from your favorite podcast tracker the following Thursday. We record at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, and we post them at around like 12 o'clock on Thursday. So, guys, any parting words before we go play some video games?
No, I want to play video games.
Have to say we have a picture of my meta bet.
Yeah?
Yes.
Can we put that in the show notes?
We will 100% have that picture of the meta bet in the show notes. Christopher texted myself and Dakota this picture.
Shit-eating
Saturday or Sunday, and I opened this at work and I'm cackling. It was the best picture that I've ever received. It was incredible.
It was a pretty good picture.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
You looked accomplished. You looked like you'd been through some shit, but now that you're here, you're proud of yourself.
Your family.
Yeah. Now that you're here, your family. You know what I'm saying?